Hello everyone, how is everyone? Thanks for sharing, Margaret. Hi Gail, hi Margaret, and Kathy. I hope we're all good. It's been a warm day. I'm not really ready for the warm, hello Rosie, not really ready for the warm weather yet. Now, I don't know if any of you have heard, I have done it in class some time ago, can't remember how long ago, but there's a few different things that you can do, and you can also do it in colour. I discovered the sepia technique is what I'm talking about. So the stamp sets I'm using, I mean, you don't have to use the same as I am. You have all got leaf stamps, I'm sure. You've all got nature stamps, so Forever Fern. This is a new one for me. I just got that in the stamp sale. Did you guys get some stamps in the stamp sale? Positive Thoughts, I haven't used that for a while. Very Versailles, I don't know what I'm going to do if Stampin' Up ever retired that one. I just love it. I don't use it a lot, I guess, but for this type of collage type stamping, it is perfect. This leaf and these words are just perfect. And Seaside Notions, which I have used a little while ago, a few weeks ago. So, without any messing around, I'll get started. So first I will show you how we usually do sepia. I'm just going to take that off camera and give the back of I'm using shimmer cardstock. I prefer it to watercolour paper. Also works out cheaper because, well, with the new watercolour paper, I did do a couple of samples with that. I'll show you some other samples towards the end of the video. Hoping everyone can, whoops, knocking everything down. Hi Maria. Hi Rhonda. You tore yourself away from the football, did you? Hi Jocelyn. What was I saying? So just do a wash on your shimmer or your watercolour paper if you prefer that. Now, as I was saying, I did do some samples on watercolour paper, which works fine, but I had to keep using the Stamper Artist because I'm going to be using Stays On and some Versamark. I'm going to be doing some heat embossing as well. I'm just trying to get a little bit of light and dark in here. I'm not going to use this one tonight. You can pop a block on it to have it dry flat, but I find that wetting the back of it before you start, it kind of dries. I'll show you one. I've got one that I prepared earlier. Of course I do. I've just got my old aqua painter to do that bit because I've still got them and they're scruffy, but they're perfect for this sort of thing because you don't need the fine detail. I'll be using the other new one for doing some actual watercolouring in a moment. So because we're going to be watercolouring, I'm going to leave that there because I'm going to need that again. Got my Stamper Artist all. This is a dry one, just so you know, I'm not using a wet one. Got my Stays On, got my Happy Birthday, and my Dear. I was never very keen on this Dear, that's why I didn't immediately grab this stamp set, but he might grow on me. I quite like the card that I made with him. So, and the beauty of using this Stays On, especially with, when you're using watercolour paper, I've missed his ear. I might just do the greeting a little bit darker. That's the advantage of using your Stamper Artist, and also gives you the opportunity to line up your greeting so you don't have crooked greetings. Okay, I'm just going to quickly clean that off. I don't like leaving, I've got one here. Don't like leaving stays on ink on my stamps for too long. Just going to have to bear with me while we do that. It's not actually coming off much on the paper. And this is, of course, stays on cleaner. You need to have to go, and I will correct myself. Last week I said you could use stays on photopolymer if you're careful. What I meant to say, I always get myself distracted. What I meant to say is if you wash it off right away, if you want to use it to get the ink off, you must wash it off straight away. Wash it very thoroughly. I try and avoid using stays on with my photopolymer. You can, but yeah, I struggle a bit with it, shall we say. So I'll take that off there. I will clean them properly on my cleaning pad later. Put on there. Now, need my sample to see what I'm going to do. So I'm going to change my original a little bit. What am I going to do first? I might do the, seeing we're using stays on, I might use that and use this script one out of Very Versailles. I decided to use the colourful scratch paper tonight because because it's white on white, so I can see where I'm going basically. If you line that up to the lines there and you've got this on the block straight, all should be straight. I don't really want to go over my writing. It won't really matter if I did, but I don't really want to. Make sure it's up the right way. And I used my stamp apparatus. It was so time consuming with using the stays on because I had to keep stopping and cleaning it. So that's why I'm using the shimmer tonight also, another reason. And where did I go there? About there. I think that's going to do. Now just bear with me again while I clean that off. I'll just clean it with a baby wipe and do it properly in a minute. I might be using this again for the next one. I know I am, but I'm not sure if I'm using ink or normal ink or stays on. I can't remember till I look at my card. So just in case I need to use a coloured ink, I will give this a proper clean. And this is all you do, just rub it on there, and normally you'd go into your scrub after that. I don't really like to because I don't want to make it all black because then I have to clean it, obviously. I'll just throw that one out. Give that a bit of a clean, and while I'm cleaning it, of course, it gives my ink a chance to dry. So now that's clean. Okay, let's get some more stamping done. Next is the leaves. Anyone ask any questions or saying they can't see? Hi Sharon. Hi Noreen. Hi Nikki. Hi Belinda. Good to see that I'm not the only one that doesn't like footy. I'm probably going to leave a few things off of this one that I put on the other one. And I don't want that leaf to come over my happy birthday. Go about there because I want to put some grass there too. So on this side we can go down a bit further. Like I say, it's always good to have one to copy off because then you can see where you're going on your next one. Just love this type of stamping, or this collage type of stamping. You can just really get your teeth into stamping, can't you? Just going to clean that off because I do need that again in Versamark. What else do we need? I actually did the grass. Oh yeah, I did have that out. And what did I do with it? I actually did the grass in the brown stays on. I wasn't going to. I was going to do it in soft suede, but it just gives a bit of a different look if I'm going to do it in this. Just a bit more definition, I think. So I'll put one there. You can't see it much, but you will later on when I'm finished with it. Oh, looks like I did little grass things as well, little other grass things. Let's make that off to the edge. And I don't want to go over that one. I left myself enough room, have I? Mightn't go over if I do that. That looks all right. So that's the brown, and I clean that. Just find my little grass stamp. I missed that. Didn't grab it, did I? Still in his case. It's all right. It's not as tricky to clean off as the other, as the black. Now, what do I do with my stamps? So you've just got your little piece of grass that will just go on this little block here, hopefully. So just randomly pop in some grass, short bits of grass, and long bits of grass. There we go. That's all I need of that. Clean it again. You do need to use stays on when you're watercolouring. I actually got a bit over all the cleaning and decided I'd use Memento for the greetings for for the black stamping. Then when I want to go over again with some watercolouring, of course it ran. I managed to fix it and cover it up, but it's better if you don't need to fix it. I'll have one there and one there. So we're just going to go in with some white embossing. Just, where did I go? There. Because I can't see where I've gone, can I? Go there. And we might have one here, which I didn't have on my other one. Hopefully that'll look balanced because I can't see where I've stamped. Just have to guess. And hopefully, oh, I should have dried that. Hopefully it's dry. Might be an advantage being a warm night tonight because I think it has. You would make sure your other brown ink has dried, your soft suede has dried, of course, before you go doing this step. otherwise the powder would stick to your other images. So just cover your ears while I emboss this. I think that looks pretty good. I probably didn't get enough powder on that top bit there, but that's okay. Now, you usually colour in the deer, watercolour him in, but don't know that I really need to. There's a bit of this, let's see, just a couple of areas. What do I do with my block with the ink on it? Oh, right in front of my nose. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of ink here. You can see a spot there that's not coloured in. I've got too much water there. Just want to make him a little bit darker than the background. I've probably got my background a little dark. I'm getting so much ink, so much water in there. Got a jolly blowfly, can you hear him? A few things I don't like about summer. And we seem to have no spring, just go straight into, from winter into summer. Anyway, it is what it is, I guess. Can't do anything about it. Who's looking forward to daylight saving? I'm not. Won't worry me too much. I'm not a fan. Missed a bit there. Hard to see his detail against the brown. Give him a browner face, browner head. Just a little bit more. Try and make him stand out a bit. I just re-inked my soft suede pad, so it's certainly very juicy. I do remember when we did this in class a few years ago, we did Beautiful You. And oh man, she looked as though she'd had a real suntan with some, probably as dark as mine is. Maybe that's what I'd done. Maybe I'd re-inked my pad before class. Possibility. Used to always do that. And how much longer before we can all get back to class, ladies? Been a while, hasn't it? Okay, that might do. Squeeze some water through, make sure my water painter is clean. I'm just going to give him a little bit of a dry off. Oops. And stuck to the embossing powder, embossed image, I should say. Now, there's two different things you can do. When we did it in class, we used some White King on a small paintbrush, but I thought I might use my white chalk marker. Seeing as how I just wanted to get the white bits in a small area, thought that might work better for me. And I'll show you my other sample shortly. So just pretty easy, Stampin' Up! Make it so easy because there's little marks where you can just put where you think you might want the definition. You don't have to put it everywhere, don't have to put too much. I'm just looking at my sample because I'm happy with what I've done. If you don't like it, you can go over it, watercolour it, and even if you do it with bleach, as I've done that, I thought, oh no, I've mucked that up, I'll just go over that in bleach, and that works too. So it's a bit hard to see the definition on the grass because my background's very dark, but if you just do perhaps the tips, just do a little bit of, just to add a little bit of definition to them. And as always, less is more, so I'll be going a bit quick and not as perfect. Now, what did I do with the daubers? Oh, here we go, under here. I know that we really need to do this, but this is part of the technique, I think. The first one I did, which I'll show you shortly, it really added a lot to the design, doing the soft suede around the edges. So just come in, with your dauber around the edges. You can do more black stamping on there if you like. I didn't on these designs. I have done on some of the other ones. It's just whatever you prefer, whatever look you're going for. And I was happier to leave the stamping as I've got it here. You could fill in all those areas, but it's nice to have a little bit of definition, a bit of light and dark. I'll need that open to do the envelope and the, just going to make sure my hands are clean. You should have seen me when I show you my samples. You should have seen me after the last couple of days I've had stamping. Oh, I was very inky. I need that too, so just going to grab the envelope and insert and do the stamping on and the sponging on there. Well, I've got everything here, so all I did there was just grab the leaf, stamped off. So we've got first generation, second generation and third generation stamping. So it's first, second, and that's third. Okay. Pop that out the way, and as I've said before, I don't. A little trick, not a trick, but something I just decided I'd do was I thought, well, I've got ink on my block, on my stamp, so before I clean it, I want a bit of sponging, I'll just grab the ink off there. Saves opening up my ink pad again and letting it dry out, so I thought that was quite nifty, and I will do that again. Just gets rid of a bit of ink off your stamp because you don't need, you're going to clean it anyway, so might as well get rid of it onto your card. Alright, check that, a bit more there. Lost it. I need that again, so I'm just going to clean this off too. Flip that over because I'm doing a different colour and I want brown sponging on everything, do I? So I've got my card base folded in half, and I didn't bring any, no, well I did, but let's just use this. And put the leaf image up the top. And then decided I wanted a bit of definition here, so I'm going to mount it onto the white, whisper white. I want to make sure you've got it coming right out to the edge. I usually have it running right out over the edge, but better to do that than not have your card stick. Your cardstock stick. I think that's pretty good. And then take your bone folder. Because it's been watercoloured, it's not too bad. It hasn't buckled too much actually. It's been pretty good. But just if you go like that with your bone folder, and you can see I've got brown on there too, so I need to get that off before I start my next card. And then onto the front of your card, you can use dimensionals, of course. We're all a bit wary of the post at the moment, aren't we? A bit conscious of how much postage is going to cost us. And pop this onto your card. Push it over a bit. Hopefully everyone can see. No one's saying anything, are they? I've knocked my iPad over. Let me see. Oh, hi Carol. Oh, your power's out, Sharon. That's no good. Must be an accident somewhere, do you think? Hope not. Now what did I do with the... Oh, here we go. I happen to have some black, old, deleted... Where are we? Deleted rhinestones. This one I put the champagne ones on. So I thought for something different, I might do the black ones on this one if we want. Oh, look at all my putty coming out of there. I don't know, I think we might have one bigger one. These were in ages ago. I'm a bit of a hoarder, as you can see. But, you know, use your things. Don't hang on to them, I reckon. That kind of frames the deer so that it looks like he's... There we go. I put my lid on there, did I? I'll be looking for that later. So there's my first sample, and there's my second sample. Okay, so this one's a bit lighter. That might have been before I re-inked my pad, I think. I think I would do that a bit lighter. Should have realised that, but it always, your watercolouring always dries lighter, so I wasn't kind of aware of that. Now I'm just going to take my baby wipe and get the brown off that. I'm going to flip over my paper. Get rid of that too, so we don't want that again. Don't want to stick my hand in that, and I don't want that again. Flip this over and start on our next card, which is where? Down here. Which I'm using, I am using Bermuda Bay for this one. Put those there, otherwise I'll be looking for them at the end once I've finished my card. So this is what I meant by, I wanted to just show you what sepia, the technique, if no one's, just in case no one's, people are watching that haven't seen it before. So on this one, we're going to do a bit of masking as well. So, and I've already done the wash so that it would dry. Didn't take long to dry tonight, I can tell you. So we're going to do, and this I'm going to have to mask the shell to do the seaweed. So we're going to do that in Stays On. And I previously have checked that my words are correct. Like lined up properly, straight, hopefully. Fingers crossed. If I don't get a good image, I can go back over it again, and in fact I may do that anyway. See, I probably could have gone the seahorse a bit darker, I reckon. I've missed patches of him. I think my shells are good. Yep, that's good. So, yeah, I was gonna not clean that till I did the next bit, but I think I will clean that, otherwise I'm going to have Stays On ink all over my fingers. It only takes a few minutes to clean it anyway. Tricky bit in there. Doesn't want to come out. Light's shining on my glasses and I can't see. So then once you've got that off, I did some masks. I'll just show you. I only need to mask my shell. And I don't know if it was because I used watercolour paper or what it was, but my sticky note wasn't sticking. So when that happens, you can go over it with your multi-purpose glue, let it dry, and it becomes a mask. So I did that yesterday while I was doing this, so it should, it'll, you know, it becomes removable. That's what I was trying to say. It's not so bad on this paper, the shimmer, but on the watercolour, it just wasn't going to stick, whatever I did. Oh, crashed over again. I haven't got much. Always stamp in a little tiny square, don't we? Got so many things that I'm using, haven't I? So I just want to do the seaweed. Anyone not know what masking is? I'll take that magnet out the road. We might go over him a little bit more too. Masking is that. So now I've stamped over the shell. Now hopefully it'll come off. I might have been a bit zealous with the glue. Just gently remove that. So then it looks like the seaweed or the coral, I think you might call that, is behind the shell. I didn't really want to look as though it was growing out of it, but yeah, that's okay. So whatever image you want in front, that's the image that you will mask, okay? And usually speaking, you'll only have to use your sticky note and it'll stick fine. But as I said, the watercolour paper and sometimes the shimmer paper, it won't stick. So you might have to do the old trick with the, let's put that over there, with the multi-purpose glue. Now I might actually do the watercolouring of the shells before I do of the whatevers. I might not have myself a little block. Oh, I did. Grabbed it there, didn't I? Won't need much. Just going to watercolour the bits that I've missed. Bring back in my piece of grotty paper towel. I'm just wanting to do him a little bit darker than the background. If you're a bit more of an artist than I am, you can do some light and shade. Probably do the backbone. Well, it looks like a backbone. It's probably not what you call it. I'm not up with botanical stuff. My granddaughter, if she watched, she'd be correcting me and telling me exactly what they were called. We can probably do that if we can. We might do that a bit darker. That bit. Just trying to get it all even at the moment. Got dark bits and light bits here. Keeps disappearing on me. That doesn't look too bad. I'll make that the same, then we might come back in and do it a bit darker. So with your seaweed, just so that it is a bit more prominent when we do the white chalk mark or the white, I'm not sure what I'm going to do on this one, whether I'll do, maybe I'll do let's have a look at my sample because I can't remember, I did so many, whether I use the bleach or the white chalk marker on this one. Hopefully I'll use the bleach, or I might use the bleach anyway, so you can see the difference. Oh gosh, it's warm. Almost air conditioner weather. Anyone got their air conditioner on? Feeling like I need mine on. I'm a bit worried I won't know how to turn it over and I'll have the heater on. That wouldn't be good, would it? Again, we'll come back with that one and do a bit of light and dark too. You could just leave them and not colour them in, leave them like they were when you're on the wash, and that would be enough colour. Totally up to you, your card, if you decide to have a go at doing one of these. I have had so much fun doing these, I just couldn't stop. I had trouble choosing my favourites that I wanted to do tonight. This one was one of them, and then I'm thinking, oh, but I like that one. It's like choosing your favourite child. Just need a bit more blue. Bermuda Bay, love this colour, one of my favourites. Yeah, that's getting a bit more colour there. Just do a couple of these, darker and lighter too. I'm just making it up as I go along, really. So I might do the centre of him, and that one, and that one. This one, might do every second one. That might look okay. So we'll do this whole ring around here. Maybe just this one. Got the big one to do, don't I? I'll do this top of him like that. Dark a bit. And then it looked like it wasn't going to blend in properly. Anyway, we might leave that because once we get the bleach onto there, that should be enough. He looks dark in spots and not dark in spots. Maybe we'll have a bit dark here. and just a few light bits. Yeah, that'll do. And now what? Yes. Ah, yes, I didn't do black words, I did Bermuda Bay words, so just as well I did clean that, took the time to clean it. Hi Karen, hi Ruth. Hi Elaine. Oh, the shingles, you poor thing, Marg. I haven't had them touch wood, the table's wood. And I don't want them either. They're nasty. Now, is that up the right way? Yep. And this time I did go over my words because I was using the Bermuda Bay. And as you can see, it lightens off. Maybe my ink pad isn't very inky, but you just see what works for you. Straighten your card up onto your lines of your grid paper. And just do another one there. I think that's enough words on there. And we use the little, I'd call that a maiden hair fern one. We use that there, coming up there. And again, coming down here. Kind of had him on top of the seahorse. And that's okay. Quite okay. Then we've got to do some white embossing, so I might actually clean those two. I always like to stamp off on there and stamp off on my, see how much you get off when you stamp off on your, already stamped off on the paper, but you still get heaps off on your baby wipe. And I know you can use your chamois, but why dirty your chamois? Why make it filthy, I reckon. Okay, now I want some embossing. So, like I said before, you want to make sure your ink is dry, so we might just draw that off. On my other card, I did the embossing first, I think. So when you emboss first, you can't stamp over it, and I'll explain, if I remember to explain, I'll explain what I mean when I show you my other cards, because I shouldn't have, I managed to fix it, but I shouldn't have embossed first, because you can do that technique called emboss resist, remember? So it looks like I've stamped over a little old seahorse with that. Do them both together. And I've come in up here for some reason. Don't know why I did that, but it looks like it's worked. Not sure if I want to have another one. Let's do this first. And I haven't on my original card got another one there, but we can if we choose to. Now, where's my powder? Can hang on to this side because I haven't got any embossing on there. They almost join, or they overlap, don't they? Maybe I do need one on the other side. or doesn't look like I've, oh yeah, so it doesn't look like I've coloured that one in, but I've gone over with the bleach, which is why you need to colour it in, of course. Keep heating until it's turned white. You can see it all turn. That's pretty good. Okay, have a look at your card. I've probably got him drowned in ferns or whatever you call it there. But anyway, we'll do the bleach and we'll see if we need to do any more. Oh, the little. Now, if you don't store your bleach, if you have a little container, don't store it in a clear container. If you're wanting to, I just put a tiny little bit in, so, and I've got some fresh tonight because it will go off. Well, not go off, but it won't be effective. I'll put it that way. So, and you only need to touch it a little bit. So I've probably gone over my seahorse's tail a bit much there. So, because I've got the ferns there, you can't really see, can you? That was a bad move. Never mind, I think you'll get the idea. Oh, it's not turning for me. Yes, it is. See how that's turning? And I'm just going to touch, well, I was just going to touch lightly the tips of the coral. Just a few little pieces. Is it working? Yeah. Do here. Looks like I just go gently and carefully. Like I did that bit, and then I might do. It doesn't actually make the stays on disappear. It will stay. I'm making this too hard for you to see because I've gone over with my vine a bit too much. I didn't have as much on the other sample, which you can see in a minute. You can't really tell here where I've gone. Oh yes, you can. It's coming there. I didn't know whether to touch his snout or not. We might just touch there and there and a little bit here. So can you see that? See where the bleach is taking it away and away here? And probably do a bit more here. The end of the seaweed, maybe a bit more here, a bit more here. And it's a much stronger effect than just using the white chalk marker, but sometimes it's a bit hard to control if you've got little areas, little tiny areas to get into, like I did have with the deer. This is just the chalk marker is a bit more controlled. Just don't know why that hasn't bleached that out. Okay, I think that'll do. Now you need to give your paintbrush a good rinsing out. You can, of course, use your aqua painter for that. I prefer not to because it's bleach. Now, our blues. There we go. Bermuda Bay. Oh, actually, we'll let that dry for a bit while we do the inside and the envelope. Which I think I'm just going to put a fern on, so I shouldn't have really worried about cleaning that, should I? Never mind. All good. Love this image too. And we're going up that way, so we want this here. Yeah, I'm going to close that up because I can grab the ink off my block again, can't I? Handy dandy, because you don't want much. Just want a little bit. And I'll still let that dry. Space that down inside there because I don't want to risk putting it on the blue. See, I've got blue on the other side of that already. I didn't keep my hands clean, did I? Ah, look what I did. Thought I cleaned my hands. Never mind. Now, there's my... Might need a bit more ink than that, perhaps. I think I do. Oh, it's working a bit. Don't actually want much. Might just go with that. It'll be a little bit lighter than the other blue, and that might be just nice. Anybody got any events planned for World Card Making Day? I reckon I do want a little bit more than that's giving me. Maybe my pad might need re-inking, not sure. Oops. So I just want the edges to be pretty dark. And as you can see, I'm not paying much attention to going off there first. It's not really mattering what I did there. We'll just fix that. Try and fix it. You can't really fix it if you've got a big blob though. Spoke too soon, didn't I? probably want to focus on this bit here with the embossing too. Really makes the embossing pop. And what I should have done was, with the other one, was go over the embossing with the paper towel to wipe the ink off it and make it pop. So we'll do that with this one. Oops, and the other way. Grab a clean area of my paper towel. It's a bit of everything, that card, bit of emboss resist, a bit of like collage stamping. Now, where am I going to put that? I know, I'll grab my paper towel back in. Not that it matters probably because it's blue anyway, isn't it? Grab this. Again, layering it onto white. I have layered my other one onto black. So it's whatever you choose. I wasn't sure, so I thought I'll do one of each. That's it. I got that straight. Yep. I think so. Again, go with your bone folder. Push him down. So you've got a good seal. That's pretty good. Got my base all ready. Again with the multi-purpose glue. And we're trying to go too fast. I'll put him on here. And you know what? That's not quite straight there. The card fold. Anyway, it's too late now. Can't fix it. Didn't spot that. Just not quite right. There, we might be able to fix it without it mucking everything up. Yeah, that looks better. Might be a bit fat at one end, but we'll go with that. Can't get too stressed out about these things, can you? It's a handmade card, so things aren't always perfect. Oh, what are you doing there? Stuck to my finger now. Looks like you want to be going on my card, do you? Okay, you can then. Oops, I dropped. Now he doesn't want to get off. Oh, you silly thing. There we go. It just went where he landed, that one. And if you wanted to have some black ones, you'd just colour them with your black Stampin' Blend, of course. Okay, so there's the blue on white version, and there is the, get all the rubbish out of the road, there is the blue on black version. I'm not quite sure which one whether I do have a favourite. Do you have a favourite? So it's a take on sepia, as I've explained. Sepia is usually, well, you know, the colour is usually light brown, and I just thought, I'm just going to see what it looks like in different colours. So there's those two, just to refresh you, and here is the other two that I've done. And I have more samples to show you. So I do like the lighter one better. I might actually go over that one with some bleach, but I have to be pretty careful because there's only little spots there it can go. So I'm going to just pop that back in there, in this little bag, because he's all done. And I'll show you my other samples. Oh, I've got to do the prize draw too before I go, don't I? So I've done this one with the two little girls from the Beautiful You set. That was one of my favourites. Love it. And that was using the new blue. I thought midnight something. Is it Midnight Muse? No. Moonlight, something moonlight. I should know, shouldn't I? And this one, pardon me, this was the one where I mucked up because I'd done some of the stamping. I must have done this. No, that feels like it stays on. I did something in stays on, and it ran when I went back over. I watercoloured it a bit more back over it. I sort of washed it a bit more, and so to cover it up, I just made some little flowers, and they came out of there's dies to go with them as well. They're from the Positive Thoughts set, wherever I've put that. And I love that one as well. I mean, I love them all, but these two and the two that I've just showed you were probably my favourites. And here's where I've fixed this one up, where I should have, I've embossed with the white first, and then I've stamped with the stays on, and it took away, because of the white, it took away the black of the poppy. So I've gone over it with my black Stampin' Blend, so you can't really notice it all that much, but that's why you would do that in the reverse order. This one uses Queen Anne's lace and the butterflies from Positive Thoughts. The little flower here is from the set with the lipstick, and I've forgotten what it's called. All dressed up, or all dressed. No, it's not all. Starts with D. Dressed to impress, is it? Something dressed something. And this is from, the name escapes me, but you'll recognise the flower, won't you? And that's using, I didn't say what colours. This is in Pacific Point. That one's in Pacific Point. This one was in Cherry Cobbler. This one is in Flirty Flamingo. I think the darker colours worked better for me. And the embellishments are just retired stuff that I had. Some of them. This is the nice white ribbon where I showed you how to do that bow last week. This was the first one I did, and this was I'd seen on Pinterest, and she's called, I think, Pia, Scrapbook Pia. She's I'm not quite sure what country she's from. She has a blog, but yeah, so that's where I was inspired to start off with this technique, because I'd seen her card. She'd done a card with using this set, and she'd used, I think there was no instructions, so I just looked at the picture like we can do. And I think she'd used either Cherry Cobbler or Real Red. I'm not quite sure, because she didn't have a list of what she'd used. But that was my first go, and then I fell in love. And then it went on and on and on, as you will see. And I had intended to do this one in the blue. I'd done some backgrounds. I haven't stuck that on the wrong side. No, I'd done some backgrounds, and I fully intended to do that in the Bermuda Bay and grabbed the wrong background, so that's when that one eventuated. And then we have this one. I had that flower left over. I'd done that to see which one I wanted on the previous one, and I like the little one from Tropical Escape, is that what it's called? And I thought, oh, that looks quite cute on there. So, and all of those, well, most of those things are from that set. The little flower is from the Free as a Bird. This one's from Free as a Bird. And the leaf and the flower are from Free as a Bird, but these ones are from Positive Thoughts. So you just sort of take it and go with it. And I think I was inspired to do this one by the red lipsticky one that I saw. And this one, you really need to use your white chalk marker. I had actually, what happened with this one, this sort of eventuated because I had done this and used the bleach. You can probably just see that. And I couldn't get it fine enough. So I went in and watercoloured it again, and then went over with the white chalk marker and did the same with the butterfly and just with the little flower and the leaves there. Okay, and that was one of my favourites too. I have lots of favourites. I just can't help myself. Okay, now for what you've all been waiting for. I thought I would, because I've got a few of these left over, these blades from the old trimmer. I thought that could be the prize for anyone that shops with me, either through a workshop, through my online classes, or use my code, and that doesn't live here or that does live here. Anyway, that has shopped with me, used my code, or been part of a workshop. So, ta-da. We're going to draw one out. If you don't have the trimmer, let me know and I'll work out another prize for you. And it's Sharon. Well done, Sharon. Okay, I don't have to post yours, do I? Hopefully you've still got that old trimmer and you can still use that, I hope. So I will make sure you get that. I'll put a little sticky note and stick that on there for you. All right. Any questions? Any comments that I need to address? Thanks, Sharon. Did you see that you won? Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Leanne. Hi, Sandy. Oh, your sister loves red. You'll have to make that one for her, Margaret. Hi, Marilyn. Love which one? Marilyn, I've been busy stamping. I haven't been watching. You love them all, Gail. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your support and I really appreciate you watching. Okay, thank you. Oh, you weren't going to watch, Maria. You were going to watch the football. Okay, bye-bye. I'll see you all next week.